Hello and welcome to another very interesting episode of 131st edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup related show, which is the Durand Talks. And we are all set to have two very special gentlemen in this show, Andy Cooper and Kibu Vikuna. No introduction needed. Two top football pundits. Andy Cooper, you all know, he's a European football pundit. So is Kibu Vikuna, two top coaches. And what a fantastic day in action. We have seen the first semi-final today in the Indian Oil Durand Cup, and it's Mumbai City who becomes the first team to qualify for the final of this edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup. Thanks to two gentlemen for being here in this particular show. I'll be first coming to Kibu because he was there in the stadium today to watch the game between Mumbai City FC and Mohammedan Sporting, the two most consistent sides of this edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup. Kibu, according to you, how did you see the game today panning up from one side to another? What an entertaining affair.
Good evening. Yes, I think it was a very nice game, very funny game at the beginning with a very strong start from Mohammedan. They started very well. I was surprised with the level of the team. Tactically, very offensive. They faced the game. They started the game very well. Then Mumbai City started to control the midfield line with Yahoo, and of course the performance of Greg Stewart and Chante in the right flank. The second half was we saw small micro games, because at the beginning Mumbai City started better. Then Mohammedan, they had very good chances, especially with Marcus Joseph, because Marcus Joseph is a player when he was participating in the offensive actions. These offensive actions become better. And at the end, in the last 25 minutes, Mavia has a very good save in a sort of Stewart. And the last action of the game with again Greg Stewart, Chante, and the goal of Bipin. It was a very interesting match with a very good Mohammedan. I'm very happy to see that Mohammedan is playing this kind of football, and a Mumbai City that is one of the best teams in India.
I'll be coming back to Andy. I mean, we often talk about showing patience, giving time to the coaches and the system as well. How do you see the transition of Mohammedan Sporting? A couple of years back, they were playing in the second division in the I-League. In fact, they were playing the I-League qualifiers. And then all of a sudden, they have become one of the best teams in India. And we all know, in the media, we have all read that Des Buckingham, the head coach of Mumbai City FC, he also made a statement like Mohammedan deserves to be there in the ISL. They are that good. How do you see this move, this transition, this period in Mohammedan Sporting?
Yeah, good evening. First of all, pleasure to share the stage with Kibu tonight, and obviously my time in India crossed paths with his successful stints over at Mohan Bagan. I remember watching his sides very well, so it's great to be on board with him this evening. I think we've talked about a lot in terms of patience with coaches and giving people time to build a squad and an effective and keep it tight, and to keep a close coaching unit, especially in these periods. And you've seen that's what they've been able to do. Mohammedan have gone toe-to-toe with ISL clubs regularly throughout the last 12 months in tournaments, and they produced large, massively positive performances and results. And obviously at this stage, it's the bow out at the semi-final stage, but look what they kind of have achieved, how it'll set them up going into the future. And obviously it's good validation for the coach in terms of how he sets up the teams, very clever tactical changes maybe by Des Buckingham and his team, which, and like you said, they're a fantastic top ranked Indian side. But, Mohammedan will take great pleasure from it. Of course, it'll hurt tonight. It'll hurt a lot. They'll be hurting in the changing rooms, the players, the staff, the management, supporters. But hopefully when that clears, there'll be positive signs of the journey that they've been on over the last, 12, 16, 18 months as a club.
Absolutely. I'd be coming back to Kibu. I mean, where did you find the turning point of this particular game? We have seen so many phases, small fragments in the game, small tussles in the game, small phases, and it became altogether a very very entertaining affair. Where did you find Mohammedan had their foot wrong?
Well, it was again it was very important to score the first goal. No, both teams they have chances. It's true that Mumbai City they have more clear chances than and more shots than on target than Mohammedan, but I think that we were talking before the show that one of the turning points of the game was the change. The changes in the middle of the second half that the coach of Mumbai City did. No, when Griffiths went out and Metap went in as central defender, and especially Noguera went in the game, and this association between between Yahoo, Noguera, and Greg Stewart. Three very good players, some of the top players in Indian football. Plus, I can say for me the addition of Chante, for me the key player of the night, because he was very dangerous, and he was very very important in all the offensive Mumbai City actions. I mean, I think that it was the like in the film the plot point of the match, no. But also in Mohammedan, when Abhishek went in the position of Asaharuddin, they have very good 10 minutes in the between, we can say 55, 65 minutes or 60, 70, and they have very good chances to score the first goal. One of Marcus Joseph and the second one of Pritam from a sort of distance. No, so I think that both teams they play their cards, and Mumbai City were the lucky one tonight, scoring in the injury time.
And we're coming back to Andy. We have seen, like, in the very first appearance, Abiola Jordan, a new Nigerian striker for Mohammedan Sporting. He played in the second half, scored two cracking goals, and created a lot of buzz in Indian football circuit. He was not available today because of a knee injury. How big a setback was that before the start of the game? What do you think?
Yeah, it's huge, and you know that he was obviously increasing his game time as the tournament went on, and surely behind the scenes they're managing his minutes to get him up to speed, to be able to hit the ground running in a tournament. But it's difficult in tournament football with such a short space of time between games. If you're lacking the sharpness of a full pre-season to hit the ground running and be able to affect it, so he's come on obviously and been able to score them two goals. But ultimately, there must have been either a knock in training or in and around the previous game, which means that he's ruled out, and then you have to shuffle your pack. You have to take your chance with other players. But it gives opportunity for others and players, and that's what these cup competitions do. They gave chances for players to show. And like you have said, plenty of players on the team have really come to the fore. They've shown what they can do, and they'll be in the head coach's mind for future games. But of course, somebody who's got that experience in the football where he's played in previous leagues, to be missing today would have been a huge loss, and obviously a big bonus for Mumbai when they got the team sheets in and realised that he wasn't there due to his injury.
I'll be coming back to Kibu before we start the preview for the next game, the other semi-final. Kibu, I mean, a question from Rupakshan Kangabam, and the question is, where do you find are the weak links of Mumbai City FC in this game?
Sorry, could you repeat again?
Yeah, the question is, where did you find the weak links of Mumbai City FC in this particular game?
I don't say I cannot say any weak points in Mumbai City, because at the beginning of the match, Mohammedan play really well. and it was very even match. Both teams trying to attack. Very entertaining match. It was very funny game. Very funny game to watch in the stadium. No, I think that the coach of Mumbai City, they played the cards very well because they had Noguera in the bench. They have also some players with injuries, so it was not easy to the game to them tonight. I think that the key aspect of this game is this link between Mortada Fall, Griffiths, also the Australian player is a very experienced player. Central defender also can play as defensive midfielder, and Yahoo, Noguera and Greg Stewart. No? Diaz, the striker that played last season in Kerala Blaster, had an injury. Was close to me watching the game in the stadium. So I think even they have an important injury at the beginning of the match. No, so I think that they perform really well. It's a very solid team. Andy said that I agree with him that as well as Mohamedan, both teams they have coaches that they were last season in their team. So both teams, as Mohamedan and Mumbai City, you can see that both teams they are well prepared tactically. No, they are working with the same coaches since last season, and I think it's a very key aspect, especially in Indian football, when you have to start with sometimes with a new game model, new style, with new players, and you need time to develop properly a project.
Absolutely. Coming back to tomorrow's game, Andy, I'd be coming back to you first. Two big teams, Bengaluru FC and Hyderabad. Hyderabad, as we all know, they're the reigning champions in the Hero Indian Super League. Bengaluru FC, they are also one of the finest teams in the Indian football circuit. They'll be playing against each other, all ISL affair tomorrow. And whoever wins will be facing this Mumbai City FC team in the final. How do you see tomorrow's matchup, Andy?
Yeah, just like we've mentioned before about tactical battles between coaches. Again, you've got a set way and a set system with obviously Hyderabad and how they play and obviously use their overseas players very well to link play throughout the thirds of the pitch. And then a newer style in terms of a newer management team and a club that's gathering momentum. Obviously, some indifferent spells and some individual errors in games that have cost them, but obviously gathered momentum as well in their playing with the back three and the wing backs and these type of areas to try and highlight and expose teams down the sides. So it is contrasting styles, but I think two really strong opposition. But within that and within the game and the small moments of the game, big individuals, huge individuals in terms of qualities. So not just the tactics from the head coach and the style of the club, but they've also got match winners both in their team that can unlock defences, can score from all areas of the pitch. So I do think it's going to be a fascinating battle because it won't just be, it can be decided by key moments in terms of, incredible moments of skill or, as we've seen in other games, individual errors.
Absolutely. Kibo, I'd be coming back to you to talk about a bit more Roy Krishna and Sunil Chhetri combination on the front. We saw what Roy Krishna did the other day. He scored a winner on the 121st minute of the game, just when everyone was thinking that the match is going to a dreaded penalty shootout. How do you think about this pair and the way they have been combining together for the first time in Indian football?
No, we are very lucky to have tomorrow the opportunity in Salt Lake Stadium to watch two of the best teams in Indian football. No, as you said, the combination between
I think some internet issues. Yeah.
Yes, sorry,
Yes.
I said that between Roy Krishna and Sumil Chetri, two of the best players in the league, and not only them, because Sandes, Suresh, Pravir Das, they have very good players, all of the best players in the league, and also Hyderabad. As Andy said, Hyderabad is a team that is playing really well, different style than Bengaluru, with Manolo Marquez, arguably the best or one of the best coaches in Indian football, the current champion of the league, with a very clear style. One of the teams that played better football in India in the last 2 seasons. So it's going to be, as Andy said, a battle of styles, but very nice game, because some of the best players we can see in Indian football. We were talking about Roy Krishna and Sumil Chetri, but what to say about Bartok Beche in Hyderabad, one of the best
I think some audio issues are there, Kibu. We can't hear you. Yes, we missed out the last part of your statement. Can you reconnect once, Kibu? I think that would be helpful. We can't hear you. Can you please reconnect once? Can you reconnect once, Kibu? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. I'll be coming to Andy till the time Kibu fixes his issue with the internet and the audio. Andy, I mean, of course, we are talking about the two coaches, the two styles. You know Simon Grayson very closely, the Bengaluru FC coach. And also you have seen Mano Marquez with the way he has orchestrated his team over the years in Indian football. Also, the way we were talking about the way Mumbai City FC or Mohammedan Sporting have taken their football standards by giving proper time to the coaches to make and assemble a good champion team. Manolo Marquez has also got that particular thing with him as well. How do you see the battle of the two coaches? As I've mentioned, you know Simon Grayson very closely.
Well, I know of his work and as obviously his successes in the UK with his teams here. What's been evident to me, it seems that he's finding a system that best suits his best players to play, to get his best players on the pitch. And his best players on the pitch has been to get this 3-5-2 formation where he can get out and out strikers up against the centre backs of the opposition. And then obviously he's had at times Faisal Ali on one side and Prabir Das on the other as wing back, getting nice and high. So there's obviously been moments in the game where you look and see, I might have a unique style and way I want to play as a coach, but do I have the players that can play that, or do I need to really maximize, what players I have and put them in a system that suits them at the moment? And I think that's been the style that he's opted for. Obviously, when you've got the firepower they have up top, he's front loaded it at the top end of the pitch, and then obviously having some quality in central areas as well, like he does. So I do think that's going to be key, because not too many teams set up in that style, and there might be a bit more counter-attacking in the way they do it tomorrow and break with pace and forward. So, like we said, two maybe contrasting styles, but both equally warranted and merited based on the players that they have in their team. A coach that has built his style over a period of time and recruits players that fits in his model, and somebody who's just come into a club and obviously seen the individuals he has and picked a formation that suits the players.
Absolutely. I'm coming back to Kibu. I hope his audio problem has been solved. Repakshan Kangava has a question. And the question is, who are the key players, according to you, of Hyderabad FC for tomorrow's game?
I think that, as I said before, Bartok Beche is one of the best strikers in Indian football, and is the goal scorer, prolific goal scorer, all the seasons scoring a lot of goals. For me, in Hyderabad team, if he's playing, because Manolo is changing the the players is making rotation every time because they are starting the season. I like very much Joao Victor. Joao Victor is the leader, is one of the leaders of the team, on and off the field. No, he's like a coach inside the pitch. Also, I think the add of Odeo Nandia is very important because he knows he understands the game, playing as central defender. He is very complete player because he can help you carrying the ball from behind, creating superiorities from behind. Also, tactically is very important, holding the line. I think it's Odey, Joao Victor, Bartok Bece, and also we can say that they have one of the best Indian players nowadays, that is Akash Mishra. For me, Akash Mishra, the left back, is if not the best Indian player right now, one of the best. And when, for example, in Europe, they are asking me about potential Indian players that can play in Europe, I always say that because of the position, also because of the physicality and his improvement, Akash Mishra is one of the best, one of the most potential players in Indian football.
I have a question for both of you. In fact, there's a question on behalf of Gaming AK. I'd be asking this question first to Kibu because you were there on the ground today as well to watch the game. Few words on the improvement of Lalianzuala Chante. Is this the best we are seeing of him? Is he going to be the main player, not only for Mumbai City FC, but also for India in future? And what's Dace Buckingham's contribution in it? I'd be first coming to Kibu, and then I'd be coming to Andy as well.
Well, I think that we were talking before, for me was today the key player. Of course, when he was playing also in Chennai, he was very important player. I see now that, for example, is more involved in the defensive phase of the game. 2 years ago in Chennai, he was very good player and very dangerous player in the offensive phase, but in the defensive phase didn't work too much, and now he's starting to work too much because perhaps I'm sure that the coach is demanding him that he has to help the team in the defensive phase. No, I think that also he now is with confidence because he's scoring goals, and also I see the very good connection with Greg Stewart. No, in today's game they were looking for each other and they were playing between them. Also when Alberto Noguera went in, they were the game of Mumbai City were playing more in the right and in the left. No, I couldn't see the statistics yet, but I'm sure that Chante was playing more, was touching more the ball than beeping in the other side. No?
Andy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's a lot more of a mature player now. He's only maybe 24, 25 now, but you're looking at someone who's had obviously time at Odisha, Chennai now and Mumbai. So he's obviously got pedigree and qualities. He's showing more maturity. I like what Kibu said in terms of when he doesn't have the ball now, there's a lot more attention to his movement and his work rate without possession. And if you're scoring goals and providing assists, it breeds that confidence that you want in a player. And I'm sure that'll be the next stage of his progress that the manager, the head coach will really want, that contribution in terms of goals and assists now going on. You know, you obviously saw glimpses of it last season and previous season with Chennai, but now is the time for him at 25. He's got a really good opportunity in a very good team with a good coach in a settled squad to kick on to that next level and obviously be, hugely important for football in general in the country.
I have a question for Andy. We discussed about Hyderabad FC as Kibu made a very important statement about Joao Victor, and his mentality and his head as a coach inside the field when his team operates. How do you see the impact of Bartholomew Ogbeche? No matter which tournament he's playing, he just loves scoring goals, isn't it?
Yeah, good goals though, isn't it? You can get in the box, arrive between defenders. Seems very difficult to mark as a centre back in terms of his movement. It's quite awkward to handle. And we touched on it earlier on about team selection. You know, there's players getting rotated all the time. It's probably harder for us to predict team selection going into a tournament than it is to then an outcome of a game when there's only 3 possibilities. It's harder with these players, the amount they're rotating, but for sure, he's obviously building on game time. He's preparing for a season ahead, but taking this very seriously. And, you know, low minutes at the start of tournament, but now goals firing in. And I'm sure he'll be a real threat in and around the box, outside the box in terms of that link-up play and combining with players. But for me, he's really difficult to mark and to handle when he's inside the box, his timing of his movements, and he arrives late in places. So, yeah, he's obviously done really well.
Kibo, I have a question about the fans. Like today, there were around 34,000 fans were there in the stands. I mean, it was buzzing actually inside the stadium. How do you see the resurrection of the Indian Oil Durand Cup? Top teams have been playing, ISL teams have been playing with their first teams, and 4 top teams played in the semi-finals. And we have seen there were hardly any difference between the teams who are playing in the semi-finals.
Yes, you are right. It's fantastic to see how football Indian is developing. For me, this idea to have all the teams in ISL, some of the best teams in I-League, and of course the 4 teams from the Army Red, Army Green, Indian Navy, and Air Force is a fantastic tournament with 20 teams, 4 groups in different places. Quarterfinals, the semi-finals today in the stadium with a Kolkata team that it was very important, no, to see Mohammedan. I'm sure that the supporters of Mohammedan, the Mohammedan supporters, are very proud of the team because the performance of the team in the group stage and tonight was superb. They were playing against ISL team, and they saw that nowadays is the best team in the league. For me, is the clear favorite to win the league this season, and also the best teams in the ISL. No, it's a pleasure to see Mumbai City tomorrow, Bengaluru and Hyderabad, ATK Mohunbagan. So very good idea, and hopefully every season we can enjoy this Durand Cup.
I have a question to Andy as well. Can we call this as a success story in Indian football, this edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup? We have seen the ISL teams, they entertained each and every one. But boy, oh boy, the I-League teams like Mohammedan Sporting, Rajasthan United, they played some sensational football and entertained and shocked and surprised the entire football circuit, isn't it?
Massive success. I think we're all championing that. There's more competition. The seasons are longer. There's more matches between competitive teams. The best players playing against each other more often can only benefit Indian football. More opportunities for domestic Indian players to play in these top tournaments, and that's what this Durand Cup has done. It's given opportunities for people to play at the top level, for the best coaches to be working against each other, and to create, you know, huge strides forward in what is already a historic cup competition. But we want the seasons. We need a lot of, we need more matches. We need more football and the competitive games. And when you bring cup competitions in, it obviously provides the opportunities for players. More game time to be prepared for a season, but also to win something that's meaningful and obviously something to fight for. And that's what this tournament does. And I think it's been a huge success. And like you said, with the crowds back and involved and the support that you guys have had, I'm very jealous. I looked earlier, my 1929, my local regiment lost in the final of the Durand Cup. So I've not had not much luck. I haven't been out to watch a game yet in the stadium live, and also my local team in England, my regiment, didn't win the final in 1929. So not as successful for me, but for you guys, it seems brilliant, and obviously the future of Indian football.
Well, you just said that about 1911, that's East Yorkshire Regiment, they couldn't win it. And the team which won that particular game, the Mohun Bagan fans are writing in the comment section about their former and beloved Mohun Bagan coach, Kibu Vikuna. And we want to win Mohun Bagan. Statements like Kibu sir, love from the Mariners, it's joy Mohun Bagan, statements like that. You feel a lot of you take a lot of pride in these things, like the way you contributed to this fan base, with the way you have enriched Indian football. Kibu, Indian football is grateful to you. I have a question from Somnath Guha to you. During Durand Cup, which new players have caught the limelight in terms of the Indian footballers' perspective? This is a question from Somnath Guha.
Well, for example, there are teams that they play with very young players. No, for example, Jamshedpur, Kerala Blasters, they perform really well. No, Jamshedpur they won 2 games. Kerala Blasters qualified to quarterfinals. They were performing really well. Tonight we could see very good players as well. No, for example, for supporters of ISL, they can see that in I-League there are a lot of very good players. For example, the save of Matia in the 1-against-1 against Greg Stewart was fantastic, and he was very solid the whole game. For me also was very nice to see the performance of Fayaz, not only today, the whole tournament. No, Chante is a player that we know already, but he's a young player that is performing as Andy said really well in the last seasons. No, so we can see that there are very good players, Indian players in India. Every season appear 3, 4, 5, 6 new players, and they are performing very well. No, you can see, for example, Apuya 2 seasons ago in Northeast as defensive midfielder. Sahal. There are always in Hyderabad, Akash Misra, for example. Kiyan Nasiri in ATK Mohun Bagan. For me, if you tell me one player that I want to see more, is Fardim, the offensive midfielder in ATK Mohun Bagan. For me, is a very talented player, offensive player, number 10, with also goal scorer, with a capacity to make the last pass. I want to see more Fardim Ali, because I think is going to be one of the best offensive players in Indian football.
Yeah, that was the question from Sahid Sheikh as well. Like, what do you think about Fardeen Ali Mullah? An impressive talent for sure. Before we go towards the end of the show, there are so many questions. I'd be taking 2 or 3 questions from here on. Of course, the Mumbai fans are very happy. Babu Fogat, he writes, City of Dreams, Mumbai City FC. Of course, it's a fantastic night. For the first time ever in the history of the 131st or 131 years of this Durand Cup, the Indian Oil Durand Cup, the team has qualified for the final. So it's a phenomenal night for all the fans out there in Mumbai who support their favorite teams. Question I have for Kibu Vikuna and Andy Cooper. First, I'd be coming to Andy. Of course, I mean, you make very accurate predictions in the last few games. So is Kibu. I'd be coming to both of you to choose a winner tomorrow. And had you been on the dressing rooms tomorrow, it's basically a battle of nerve as well. So what would be your tip of advice? I'm asking this question to both of you. First, I'd be coming to Andy. uh, to both the teams?
Yeah, the first team environments I work in, your preparation's done. By the time you get in there and you've addressed the players and the team meetings and you go into the changing rooms, you need to be, clear in the players' mind that they've got their instruction, they've got the game plan, and then it's over to them. Now, I know that's easier said than done, but you get the team sheets in, you check whether it matches what you think will line up with the opposition, and then you go ahead and you deliver. You cross that white line and you put everything on the line for yourself, for the club, for the fans, and the people that are backing you at home. So keep calm, keep it clear in what you're trying to do, and no massive changes. I don't think there will be any huge personnel might change because it's really hard to predict the lineups in these tournaments, but I don't think styles will differ.
Kibu, I mean, had you been in the dressing rooms of both the teams tomorrow, what would be your tip of advice to the players?
I think, yes, as Andy said, no special motivation talk, because the players have the motivation itself, no, because they know that it's a very important game. They have a very clear tactical plan to face the game, and enjoy the game, no, because play semifinals of one tournament. I remember 2 years ago when we played the final in the Durand Cup. This kind of games, they are very it's a pleasure to play. No, I think very clear tactical plan. Not too many things to say. Also, of course, they for sure both teams, they have to a lot of individual issues to the players, because there are very important individual players. But especially this, no, clear tactical plan for tomorrow game, both teams, because both teams, they have different styles.
I was planning to wrap it up with the quick predictions, but in-season questions on two particular matters. I'd be taking those questions one by one first. Question from Shahir Sheikh. I'd be coming to this particular question for Kibu. What do you think about Juan Ferrando?
I think he's a very good coach. He's a very good coach with a lot of experience. Their teams, they have a clear style. It doesn't matter the shape of the team, because, for example, at the beginning in FC Goa, they were playing with 4 defenders. I remember very clear with Edu Bedia, with Alberto Noguera. He played tonight. Ortiz, Angulo was playing in Goa. They played 1-4-3-3. Then now he's playing with 3 central defenders. He's a very good coach with a good coaching staff. They have the experience in Indian football, not only in India, in other countries. He has worked in FC Goa, now in ATK Mohun Bagan. So no doubt about the level of Juan. Is one of the top coaches in Indian football.
I told you, like, I'd be coming to Andy once for this question. I'll be taking both the questions combined. Andy, Manolo Marquez has helped Indian players so much. 2 seasons before, they played with 9 Indians. Now they are reaping the fruits. First. Second, this question has been coming again and again. Say something about Gyaman Nikum of Rajasthan United, the find of this Indian Oil Durand Cup.
Yeah, well, I sound like I'm repeating, but I'm really passionate about it. If you give someone time and a platform to work and a good infrastructure, and you can build a culture and a style, then he, with the quality that the coach and the experience that he has, he's going to develop players. He's going to develop young Indian players. He's going to give opportunities, and he's going to be successful and take them deep into tournaments, deep into league competitions like the ISL, like he's done. And that's what you get, chopping and changing all the time, maybe in certain leagues has short-term benefits. But here, when you're developing younger players who want to learn alongside good, and we spoke about leaders on the pitch and coaches on the pitch alongside them who can help both on and off the pitch in games, it's not a surprise that you get Indian players developed in within these systems, and I think it's a credit to Hyderabad how they've structured the club and how they've built that style and that way of playing, because they've then been able to develop local and national talent from all over the country.
Now, quick prediction on the scoreline, Andy.
Oh well, my heart obviously has to say with Simon Grayson in terms of a Yorkshireman, and but my head does suggest a really narrow victory for Hyderabad. My heart is saying Bengaluru by a goal, but I can't. I have to stick with my football head, not my heart.
Yorkshire brain. Now comes Kibu. What do you think? Quick prediction on the scoreline.
The same. I think that is is going to be a very narrow game, and I think that the experience of Hyderabad, they are playing with the same coach in two seasons. They have more team, and I think yet Bengaluru more individuals. It's going to be very tight, very tough game. But I see, if you tell me which team, I think Hyderabad.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you so much, Kibu, and thanks to all the fans who were there and kept asking questions to the two gentlemen. And without your support, this Durand Talks should have been a success story as well in the 131st edition of this Indian Oil Durand Cup. We have a cracker of a game tomorrow. Two ISL teams will be locking horns with each other. It's Andy Cooper's Yorkshire, friend over there. It's Simon Grayson, and of course, it's Manolo Marquez, who would be up against each other for this classic contest. Till then, stay tuned, stay happy, and keep watching the Indian Oil Durand Cup. Thanks for joining us. Good night.